Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Blue Jay Acres. So many of you have been definitely awaiting this. We are going to talk to you about our budget for 2023.
Ooh, money. Money talk.
First, I just want to say before we start, we want to give a huge thanks to you guys for continuing to just be our cheerleaders and to, be subscribers and follow us on our journeys. Even though I know I take some breaks here and there, I will not do that in 2023.
Yes, you will, but it's okay.
He says things will happen and I will. But my plan is not to do that and to be on every day.
Yep.
And we just want to thank you guys for being so loyal to us.
Yep.
And we think that you guys are wonderful. And you are definitely more like family and friends than just subscribers.
What we're really here to talk to you today about is money and where we're at and where we're going in 2023. Hopefully along the way there are some things we're doing you guys can find useful. But this is what we've decided to do as we get into 2023. And I think the most important thing we can do there is start by looking at what happened, what got us off track, and where are we at right now, right?
And disclaimer, we are not professionals. We are not telling you what to do by any means. We are just telling you what we are doing. So if you guys have suggestions on maybe a way we could do things better, then feel free to leave that down below and we will definitely consider some of those, because this is an ongoing thing. We will be reevaluating every month. Nothing is set in stone. Except for our debt. It's definitely set in stone, but nothing else is. So, every month on the 1st, we will reevaluate this with you. It won't be such a lengthy video, but we will go over with you exactly what we accomplished that we were trying to accomplish on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully our debt will be more like set in really stiff mashed potatoes. We'll eat away at it a little bit at a time. So where are we at? I think the best place to start is just talking about November of this past year, beginning of the month. We were making some purchases and all of a sudden we got a decline notice that popped up. And
never has it happened.
I've never had a decline, right? I've always kept payments on credit cards down to where I always had buffers in there, but we knew that was climbing and we got a decline and took a look and it's like, oh snap. We are at max capacity on one of the credit cards we had. And so, it really got to where I was paying on that one for a little bit of November, and then it's like, oh, well, we're going to have to put some of this on the other credit card we have because I don't have enough room on the first one for that. So then we started tapping into a second one, and, I think that's kind of what made us stop and look at it, and it was kind of a slap in the face, a little bit of reality.
Well, reality too was I was actually at the grocery store when that happened, and I had my cart full, everything there, and I said, ma'am, your card's been declined. I've never had that happen, and yes, it freaked me out. So when I went to use my bank cards to cover it, because we have only used credit cards for so long because we use the points,
Yep.
My bank cards have been deactivated. So I had no way to pay for all these groceries. Luckily I think it was Kate with me, and she had money in her account, or Ash, it was one of the two. So they put it on their card so we could get home and I could give them money for it. Because I had money in the bank to cover it. But the bank, like I said, it had turned off all of my bank cards. I have no ATM cards that were working, which is good to know because we needed to get those turned back on.
Yeah, so,
but yeah. So
number one learning, we had debt. Number 2 learning, did you know that if you didn't use your ATM cards for a certain period of time, they would turn them off?
Like years. Like years I hadn't used them.
I figured as long as they had... Mine did the same thing, by the way. I went to go use mine and I couldn't use mine either because we hadn't used them in so long they deactivated them, and I didn't even know that was a thing.
Because I called him freaking out. I'm trying to pay for this stuff and nothing's working. What is wrong?
They're not past their expiration. So that's kind of where we were. We had,
I said that'll never happen again.
No. We ended up, when we stepped back and took a look at it, we ended up with over $20,000 in credit card debt that just kind of snuck up, and we were making payments and doing the regular things, but as the interest continues to compound on top of what we had on those balances, we kind of get to that threshold pretty darn quick, especially the more you get on there, the faster that's going to close that gap. And that one came around and bit us in the butt and said, you know what, we have to figure this out. So,
because not only did we use it for everything, we also have bills being billed to it.
Yes.
Because you get the points every time you use it, so we're able to get like gift cards throughout the year.
Yes.
For money for Home Depot or whatever. And so we have bills, cell phones, and different things that just get charged to that card specifically. So once all that would start bouncing, we were going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, not everybody may have that, by the way, but I have a Capital One account, and I am a fan of Capital One. They've been great to me over the years. But my Capital One account is a rewards one that is old enough that every dollar spent earns points. It's not just up to a certain dollar amount or over a certain dollar amount or on a certain category, like only on groceries or only on gas. This one was $1 on anything, or a point for any dollar. And so that made it really easy to do things like the cell phone bill and stuff like that, to auto pay on that and earn points on it. And quite frankly, even with Air Mile ones that are out there and stuff like that, I don't know that I would change that one. What needs to change is our spending habit. And I think that's where we spent some time, and where we're coming to you today is we took some time to look into the spending habits. And that was the very first thing. And this is something that I would recommend for everyone, is really understand where you've been spending your money and how you've been spending your money, because you can't fix your problem until you fix the problem.
And what got us off track. So kind of try and go through this a little faster. This is going to be a really long video probably, you guys. But we want to give you the real nitty gritty of it all and how we came about what we're going to do.
Yep.
So, like all of you, we haven't been in debt like this forever. I mean, when we moved, we did not have debt other than a truck payment and a house payment. That's it.
That's it.
And we thought we were good to go. We thought we had enough between what we made on the other house and the sale of this house. We thought that we had enough to cover things.
And I think that's
and that is where starting a farm, if you're new to our channel, we have a farm. Started a farm in 2020, and that was way more expensive than we ever dreamed it would be.
Well, and I think that was important. Something that you just said is the fact that we had money from the sale of the old house. So not only were we out of debt, but we had money that was set aside.
Quite a bit of money in
that was going to carry us through for a couple of years of improvements and just regular things. And
between the money we already had in our account and then the profit from the sale of the house, we thought we were good.
Yep.
And we weren't.
No. So
some things that happened with us is in 2020 when we moved. So this all kind of started to build up. We didn't dip in, though, to really credit card stuff, I'd say, until 2021. I think 2020 is when we kind of blew through everything that we had. And things that just we didn't expect. When we bought this house, it was supposed to be, the pool just needs a new liner. And that was not the case. So it's supposed to be like $7,000, $8,000. We actually had that figured in. They gave us money and part of the closing that was supposed to help cover that. I mean, we had it all figured out. And nobody would touch that pool. They said it hasn't been open in 20 years. It's crumbling. The only thing anybody would do is bulldoze it and fill it. Well, to do that alone was $8,000. And then we had to get then the newer pool, so we got the above ground option, which I'm very grateful we did, and we're very happy with that. And we are very grateful we went with a more expensive above ground pool because we wanted it to last. So that was another $8,000. Not to mention all the chemicals and everything to go to get it to go. And you know, we're going to build a nice deck and everything around it, and it will be very pretty, but all that has now been pushed to the back burner, which was hopefully going to happen in 2021, which of course we ran out of money, so that did not happen in 2021.
So first controversial point in that is, did we have to have a pool? And
yes.
I'm going to say yes, because first of all, moving out to the country and getting the extra acreage that we did, part of the selling point to the kids was the fact that we were going to have a house with a pool. So that was kind
We
of
promised them a pool.
yeah, absolutely we did. And that was kind of the sacrifice, you know, to move to the country for them, was they were going to pick up this, you know, pool they could go out to every day. And, you know, the other side to that is with Luke, especially with his autism, if we can find something that he loves to do, and swimming is one of those things,
Huge
we want
love.
to make sure that we give him those experiences. So
Yes.
that was number one. We definitely needed that.
And no regrets on that,
Yeah, no.
because Luke uses it. I mean, all the kids do, but
Right.
he especially, from the moment it opens to the moment it closes. And we left it open as long as possible.
Yeah.
That child swims morning, noon, and night. We have lights we had to add to the pool so he could swim in the dark. I mean,
Yeah.
we have, he is always
So-
in it. We do not regret it whatsoever.
Yeah, not at all.
But we had
Not at
other
all.
things happen too. A wall was starting to give in the basement that we didn't know about. So how much was that to have the wall
It's like
reinforced?
$4,000, I think, is what we did. The steel beams went up against the wall, concreted it again. It's not
Right.
gonna move, but I'm telling you, I had a crack in the foundation wall about frost height, frost level, so it's about 3 foot down below grade, and it was about a 1/2 inch crack that went across between two windows, probably for a good 10 feet.
Well, and
So
to
it's
keep
definitely
water
bubbling.
to keep water away from the house, we had to raise some of the concrete padding
Yes.
around the house as well,
Yep.
which also cost money. We ended up with termites in our barn that was not caught because the outer buildings are not really part of the whole home inspection thing. You know, they're not really part of all of it. So we have still termites being, well, they're taken care of, but we still have the ongoing
Treatment.
come and do the treatments. We had bug invasions.
Yeah.
We had a whole swarm of hornets come and invade our house, and Luke had to go like to the emergency room
So
because
not
he was getting
in
stung.
the house, but right outside.
right outside
the
the
door.
door.
Right.
And so every time he walked out, they'd just sting you. And so we had to have that taken care of, and now we
Yep.
still have to have them come treat. And they come every few months, and they treat around the house, which I don't know that we added that into our figures either.
We
So
didn't.
we'll have to figure that. We'll have to keep that up because we cannot have that come back. Because like I said, he was going to the hospital because he was having reactions. So not an option.
Which ties into one of the
Medical
other
expenses.
things, medical expenses for
Yes.
last year, which were, we went to emergency care, urgent care, emergency room visits more last year
So
than
many
I think
sicknesses.
in like all my years combined. It was crazy. And it was for things like bee stings, and Luke's hand would swell up like, well, it kind of looked like the Pillsbury glove, or hamburger helper glove.
He
That's
couldn't
it.
even
Yeah.
close his
He
hand.
couldn't. It just
But then they
swelled.
also
Yeah,
had
crazy.
these coughs and got these chest congestion things that we had to go and get
Yeah.
kids taken care of. It was just one thing
After
after
the
another.
other.
You
Last
also
year,
got your teeth done,
yes,
which
I
is a
did.
wonderful thing.
Yes,
So we had
but-
that as well.
The plan was the teeth would go on the medical card for last
Right.
year, the HSA card, and we had so much in medical expenses that, that didn't work really good. But then,
And the
Just-
hospital bills for Luke, because
Yeah.
he actually went to the hospital quite a bit last year.
he did.
His hospital bills just rack us up. It's $1,000 drop
Every time.
pretty much every time.
Yeah, I think every bill is like $1,400 for the bill. We also had some unexpected things last year in 2022. The refrigerator went bad, and we didn't even know it was bad. We knew it wasn't freezing, but we didn't realize it was staying at about 50 degrees, and I could not find any LG repair company that, authorized service that would come out and actually fix it. So we wound up having to replace it, even though it was under warranty. Because what are you going to do? You got to have a
Right.
working refrigerator. The washing machine died on us last year. We had to fix the cistern because we realized that the cistern out front, even though it's not really in use, it still collects water. And all of that water was washing out of the cistern down into the stairwell and up against the foundation, and that needed to get cleaned. And,
All right, so another one that was a pretty big deal was in 2020 when everything shut down, I started for the first time ever doing grocery delivery. And let me tell you, that was life altering. I didn't have to leave the house. The groceries came to me right at my front door. And I did that. I continued down that path, especially moving out here, because everything is 15, 20 minutes away, depending on traffic. And it's not just a quick jump to the store. And right now, traffic's been insane, so it's even more than 20 minutes, probably a lot of times trying to get to the store. But, because they're doing construction and stuff. But anyway, so I did the Walmart delivery all the time. And I paid the yearly fee, so I got free delivery service. But you have to tip your drivers all the time. So I got so bad about it that somebody didn't have something, like, oh, Mom, you forgot, we needed dishwasher soap. So I'd say, oh, all right, well, I'll just get on and order it. It'll be here later today. I'll get dishwasher soap, but you got to have $35 at least to get it to come to you. So I'm going to go on and add some things I don't really need, but I'm going to add them anyway. So I'll stock up some in the downstairs pantry. And now I'm at $50, and so I had to pay at least $7 tip for that $50 to come to my house, which was so wonderful that it comes right here. I think that they knew me by name. And then a couple days later, boom, something else. We need bread. I got it. So I'd order bread, and I needed to bump that up though. That's only $2. Well, now it's not, then it was. I needed to bump that up to $2 or to $35. So again, that cycle. And I kid you not, my deliveries were anywhere from $35 to $200, tips ranging from $7 to $20. And I would do multiple of those a week, multiple. Just because it got to be so convenient, and it was so just handy, especially with Luke and, you know, just how our lives were going. It just was such a convenience that I fell in that trap. And that is a major expense that we had.
Yeah.
Not only that, I was spending anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 a month in groceries, and we'll get back to that here in a minute.
Yep. So I think that really kind of wraps up the first piece of this, which is knowing what you do, what we were doing, because the only way you can fix, you know, your financial situation is to understand your spending habits and what you can cut and what you can't cut. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about in a few minutes, but I think that's a perfect example of something that is like, wow, I could save there. So we'll talk about that, but then the next piece is know what your goals are, understand where your focus is going to go for 2023, and that was the next step that we took, was to look at it and say, well, okay, we are going to make some steps to save on what we're spending. Where are we going to put the money once we figure out how much we can set back? Where are we going to focus it on? And so we put goals together.
To spend with intention.
Yeah. Yes.
We also started watching a lot of Dave Ramsey, which I had looked into him years ago. And now I kind of got Charles listening to him, Jake's listening to him, everybody's listening to him. And started trying to follow his 7-step program. And that is a little bit of our goals, like the emergency fund that we want to start. So we'll show you here now then what our goals are.
Yep.
Oh, that's you.
So, dun dun dun, we use all of the best props for this video.
What you don't see is a whiteboard over here that has all of our points.
Absolutely.
Because we tried to be organized and do this time for you guys.
Yep. So we'll go through these the rest of the year and show you guys how we're doing on these goals and kind of how we're progressing and if we need to make any adjustments to them. But the number one thing we did was say, you know what, we've got to have an emergency fund set back, so we need some cash available with quick access in case something happens. You know, if there's some sort of an issue, we need enough to make the mortgage, we need enough to pay the important things. So our first goal, have cash on hand, and for us, for our family size, that's $3,000.
That's what we came up with. Now,
Yep.
Dave Ramsey suggests that you just have $1,000. Start with $1,000, put it up, and then start paying your debt. We really felt we wanted more of $3,000 put up because we have so many things on the fritz, my dishwasher, a stove, and I mean, just so many things that could happen at any moment. And, you know, job security, of course, is a major concern for everybody, I think, right now, too. So we wanted to have at least $3,000 set aside
Right.
emergency money, and we are almost there already with that, and it's not even January the 1st yet, so.
I feel more comfortable knowing I've got enough in that fund that if I needed to cover a mortgage, I could cover a mortgage and still have money
Which is
left over.
Our main necessity. If we can't do anything else, we have to pay our mortgage.
Yeah, that's number one. So just a couple other things that we said, you know what, we need to set back money for because we know we're going to spend money on these things. Number one, we've got to get the tractor fixed, and it's actually out at a repair shop now. It has been since October, and I did talk to the mechanic on that, and you know, I'm guessing that is going to cost us about $1,800. So as soon as we finish setting up that emergency fund, we need to set back enough that when that tractor is ready to go, we can just outright pay for that repair and not charge it and go deeper into credit card debt for that. So,
and we could go without a
Yes.
tractor. We could just run cows on our back pasture. But see, one of our goals is to be self-sufficient and to raise our own food enough. And in order to do that, we need some big gardens. So the tractor is just really, it is to us, I feel like a necessity.
it is.
Especially at our age.
I need it basically to get the back piece of the property ready to go where it was cropped out with soybeans last year. It needs to be ready for grass this year. So I will seed that, and that will feed the cows and cut down on other expenses. So that's number two on the
It's
list.
something we already actually bought, though.
Yes.
Most of what
We
did
just,
for that.
yep.
Birthdays, he has 700, but actually that should be 800 as I'm sitting here thinking. The 7 children plus a grandchild. We like to do $100 a birthday. That is how we have always done it. The kids have an option of a $100 birthday present, or they can have a party.
It says 800.
We do either or. We either do pay for a party, and we spend about $100 on a party, or they can have a gift. We don't do both.
It says 800.
Now it says 800. So that we will continue to do. So we want to make sure that we put up for birthdays. We get hit really hard with birthdays starting in March. We go boom, boom, boom. We got birthdays every month. So that is a big one.
So Christmas, stressful when you don't know where it's coming from. We got that life lesson this year. We don't go extravagant.
I wanted to cut back on Christmas last year, but he said, let's just be real, because we always budget $300 a child
Yep.
and a grandchild. And let's just be real. And so,
For a large family, plus some miscellaneous here and there, $2,500, it just is what it is. Might as well just face it.
we don't really buy a lot for each other.
No.
But we do buy for, like, my mother, although this year I made her gifts. And we do buy like little teacher gifts and things like that. So that does just add up. Some of my candy making supplies, because I make candy for a lot of people for Christmas.
Yep.
And they look forward to that every year. So I don't want to stop it.
Yeah, and I am not wanting that to go on plastic and have to deal with that in 2024.
No.
So-
we want to budget for that. So we will put
Christmas.
some money aside. After we do the emergency fund is the first thing, we're going to just put that on there. But then we will put some money aside to fill these buckets.
Yes.
So home repairs, he's just kind of guessing around about, because we know we got some issues. We do still have some plumbing issues. We still have a hole in our ceiling in the bathroom downstairs,
Yeah.
because we have these fixed bathroom fixture things. What do you call them? So the wall in between, you got to get between those fixtures in order to get to the plumbing in the wall. So it's not so easy. So he's going to have to go through the ceiling to get to the plumbing.
Yes.
Um,
So what she's basically saying is we have a one-piece tub surround.
In both
So
of
there is, and the 2 showers, the bathrooms are back to back. So there is no physical way to get to the plumbing between the 2. Literally, it's a water wall. I got to come up through the bottom to figure out where that is leaking. I am hoping that the issue is actually in the valve stems, which is why I have that 600 setback, because I need to replace 4 valve stems for 2 in each bathroom, because we had the plumber come out and do it the first year we were here.
we have not had a good
And
plumber.
he took the shortest shortcuts he could get. He never replaced the seats inside the valves, and
We had a hard time even getting him to come
Yeah,
show
it
up.
was
and we had to
a horrible
pound them
experience.
to get the parts. And we just have not had plumbers at
And
all.
so each valve stem is like $45 a piece. They're Wolverine brass. They're hard to come by. I've got to special order them through a plumbing store, and they're about $45 a piece. Plus the valve stems. I'm going to have to get a tool to change them in all the 9 yards. So
these are things
yes.
that we know are coming.
Absolutely.
There will be things that hit us that we don't know that they're coming, and that's fine because we're going to kind of roll with it, and we will pull from what we're going to pay on our credit card debt to cover those instead of charge them before we pay on the credit card debt. So, you know, but we want things set up in place so that we don't have to use the credit card, if you're following. So we're not going to put more on,
right.
But we might have to not put as much down, or, you know, pay down as much that month because something else happens. So we are prepared for that.
Yep.
And we are preparing for that. So now I guess it's a great time to go into our goals for 2023 is to have 100% of our credit card debt, which is 20,000+. He won't let me tell you a number. It is not good.
More than 20.
It's more than 20. Okay? More than 20, less than 50. Way less than 50.
It's less than 30.
But anyway, it's out there. Yeah. So to have that 100% paid off.
Yep.
And to get back to using our credit cards smartly.
To accomplish these. Yep. And what that'll leave us in 2024 is then to focus on 3 things. One, have, instead of the $3,000 setback, have enough money set back to cover 6 months worth of expenses. So we want to work on that in 2024.
That's to cover, like, if he loses his job or got hurt or anything like that, because we've actually already, in our short life together, have already been through 2 layoffs.
Yes.
2. So it's very real to us. We know what that struggle is. We have been there, done that twice, and we want to be prepared if that hits us ever a 3rd time.
Yep. So we are going to set money back to cover 6 months worth of expenses. We will get the truck paid off in 2024. Now, some of you may be wondering why I'm not getting the truck paid off now, and to be honest with you, it is such a low interest rate and a low balance that yes, it is easy fruit to pick, but there's such a little interest rate on that it is not a high priority.
It makes more sense.
Yeah, it just doesn't make as much sense.
To pay off the credit cards first.
Right, absolutely.
And then to work on our mortgage.
Then to work on the mortgage, because we want to pay the mortgage off as soon as we can. So everything that we are taking that is going into these buckets and into paying off that credit card debt next year will go into
these buckets will
other
still
areas.
Get filled.
Yes.
There'll be new buckets.
There'll be new buckets.
But yeah, putting it into the mortgage after we get the 6 months worth of stuff. So now is the big question: where's that money coming from? How are we going to pay this down? How are we going to go from being in debt to paying things down? Well, you have to make cuts. I mean, that's you have to do it. Now, I want to say before we go into everything that we cut, you can go into this, I feel like, 2 ways. You can go into this as, I can't buy anything. You mean I'm going to be stuck doing this or that? Or you can go into it as, this is a fun challenge. Let's see, what can I do? So like cutting out eating out. You could look at that as, you mean I never get McDonald's, drive-by, or Starbucks, or whatever it is people love. Instead, you can say, I get to learn how to make that myself. I'm going to try all the copycats till I got it down. We're not even going to miss that. And I think it's all about your attitude towards how you want to approach this. I choose to approach it as more of a fun challenge. And yes, it will be a challenge, and there will be times it will stink, and that's okay. But for the most part, we've done it before, and it can be a fun challenge. It really can.
Her food is better than fast food anyway.
You've always said that.
So, in essence of the video time.
So here are what we did.
Here's what we did. The first thing, part of going through and knowing what got you off track is you know where you can start to cut. We did a deep dive. We used December. We checked everything every day. Deep dive in, and what did we find? Subscriptions, number one thing that we could attack. And so we see people talk about that all the time. Subscriptions. We cut 3 subscriptions to Paramount Plus because we ended up thinking we had canceled it, but then got one on the Roku, one for
through Amazon.
Amazon itself, and one directly through Paramount Plus. And it's like, okay, at $11 a piece, we can get rid of two of those.
We didn't even realize that we were doing that.
Didn't even know until I realized. I mean, I was seeing the charge come in, but I thought it was the same charge, and it turned out it was 3 times.
Once we really looked at it close, which I know some of you are going to say, how did you not know? How did you not look? We were lazy. We didn't look at our bill when it came in and what was being charged. We knew we had a Paramount Plus subscription, so
just didn't know I was paying it 3 times a month.
Just didn't realize we were getting 3 times that amount.
So subscriptions, number one thing that you can look at to try to clean up. We also combined Disney Plus and Hulu when they ran their $9.99 promo for the 2. So instead of almost $10 for one and $10 for the other, I'm paying basically $10 for both of them together. I'm saving about $8 a month really on those 2.
And that is a great thing to do if you have subscriptions, is to look at what all these promos are and switch them out if you can, because definitely that did. And like HBO Max, a lot of them are month to month too, so we canceled HBO Max. We like to watch, what's the name of that show we watch, which is the only reason we got HBO
Titans
Max,
is
the
Titans.
Reason. And so we only got it for that reason, and like now they're not even showing it, so we're gonna let that go for this year, and then we'll get to catch up on all the episodes that we missed, and we'll binge watch it for a month and have it for 1 month, and then we'll cancel it back.
Yeah, and honestly, in the spring and summer, we don't have a lot of time to watch TV anyway, so we'll keep what the kids will watch, but we'll cancel the subscriptions that we don't watch. Some other things that we did. I actually had, so one of Luke's creative outlets is making his own videos. By the way, if he ever pops one up and we take it down really quick, we're sorry about that. He accidentally does it on our account instead of posting his videos in a safe space, and he doesn't realize that he did it. So,
and I think most of you who've been with us for a really long time know that some wanky weird thing comes on. You know that Luke got a hold of it. But
some kind of craziness. But anyway, he doesn't use the Adobe anymore. So you can only have 2 subscriptions on Adobe, or 2 users on an Adobe subscription. So I had to have 2 subscriptions. That was another, like, I think one of them was costing me $50 a month, really, for the other subscription. So I canceled that. Tone and Sculpt. Oh my God.
So I'm the one that always does it. I felt trapped. I fell into it's a month free. Do it for a month, cancel at any time. And you can cancel at any time, but I always get a hiccup. Like the kids all subscribed and canceled, and it was great. It was a workout app and a healthy eating workout kind of app. And this was a year ago that I did this. And we could not get it to cancel because somehow it went on to some other Google account that I don't even know that I have. And we couldn't find it. And so for a year, we've been trying to get rid of this subscription. And he finally
figured out which Gmail account it was on, and we were able to get that canceled. So just point to note, nothing wrong with Tone and Sculpt. No, absolutely not. Or Evolve Me or whatever it is now.
I think
has no bearing against them. It was just, we fell into the trap of
a weird thing that happened.
Yeah,
because the kids, nobody else had an issue with it. It was just me, and weird things happened to me like that.
Another $20.
Yes.
Internet. Got 2 years basically, or 18 months or something like that at a promo when we moved. Really good deal. It was like 50 some bucks a month, and we definitely need the upload speed of the fiber that we have. Well, lo and behold, that ran out and I didn't catch it, so that suddenly went up to $80 a month, and we paid that for probably 3, 4, 5 months. So I just chatted, didn't even have to call, I just chatted with the internet provider and said, hey, you're still offering all these deals at this kind of a rate, what can you do for me? They knocked $30 a month off of my bill for the next 2 years. So with that one, I went ahead and set a reminder in my calendar, just to remind me to go back in and say, hey, you got to call the internet provider because you're about to have your bill go back up to $80 some instead. So all in all, by the time we cut the subscriptions and trimmed some money off the internet, we saved between, I think $170, maybe a little bit more, just in those. I know it was $100 just in subscriptions, but then I had the money that we saved on the Adobe and the money we saved on the internet, so it's really closer to $180, I think, that we saved a month. And so that is now $180 a month we're not wasting that we can put somewhere else.
Correct. And then the other big, huge one is, I told you guys, I was spending $1,500 to $2,000 a month easy on groceries and doing the delivery on top of that. So I was spending probably $100 a week in delivery and just tips, just tipping the delivery people. So we cut that back. Now in November and December we did $400 a month. And I will tell you, some of you are going to say, how in the world did you do that? One of the ways is I have a fully stocked pantry, and I highly recommend, if at all possible, to always have a fully stocked pantry. So that is actually one of the reasons we decided to not make it $400 for the 2023. We decided to bump that up to $500 because I want to be able to make sure that I can still stock things up as I run low. And you will see as I'm doing it that as things come on sale, it makes more sense to buy 10 of them so that I have a year's worth of something versus to just buy one or two. So that $100 to $200 a month, because I could do us on $300 a month, just by focusing just on what's for sale on meats, and by focusing on fresh produce, what's on clearance, and the meats, and then getting a few dairy items. I could easily keep us at $300, but I want to keep that stocked up. It gives me great anxiety when the pantries are low. I've always been that way. I don't know why, but I am, and even more so now. It makes me very anxious. So we have bumped that up to $500 a month. But you guys, right there is $1,000 to $1,500 a month that we are putting away to put on something else. I mean, that's huge. And one of the major things that you can do is cut your grocery if you're able, because that is the number 2, is what they say, most expensive thing that people spend money on is the grocery bill.
So, what helps is when you have someone who's a fantastic cook who can cook from scratch, so follow her recipes, but cooking from scratch is a huge piece of it, because you can go out and buy all your high name brand prepackaged foods, and if that's what you need to do to feed your family, then please do that. But if you have the ability to venture out into the make it yourself land, where you can just buy the raw ingredients and come up with something just as good, which is what we are doing, that is so much cheaper, and we have stopped buying as much prepackaged ready to go stuff in order to make it ourselves and save money.
But that's also not always realistic and going to happen. And that's where freezer meals actually come into play a little bit. Okay, so freezer meals are they're just a huge time saver. I will say something else that is I know a lot of you aren't stay-at-home moms like I am, but my life is actually getting to feel more a little bit like a working mom, because I have Luke's teacher here now Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday until 5:30. So I need to have things planned, and I think that's another huge part of staying on budget, is to make a plan. So plan what you already have in your freezer and fridge, and then look at the ads, which I did never do before. Now I'm actually price comparing everything, because it does take us 15 to 20 minutes to get to a store, maybe 30 minutes sometimes. But once we get to the stores where we live, one of the really cool things is I have like 5 stores literally in a shopping center together. Like one shopping center right across the street from the other one. So that is very handy for me, and I can go to multiple stores. It just takes longer, but I don't have to worry about gas or anything like that, because I'm just going literally across the street, which is very good. One of the other things is no eating out at all. We're not eating out at all. We didn't go out to eat, but we did say, I'm exhausted, I didn't sleep, you're on your way home from work, by McDonald's or something. Or, Luke wanted a reward of a McDonald's Coke on the way home from therapy or something, so we would say, okay, well, we'll grab a cheeseburger, we get him a Coke. So we stopped all of that. There is no more. Now, if you want to do that, that's where you have to decide for yourself, because maybe you're not willing to give up Starbucks or, whatever. Then you have to decide that. What we have done is we have switched to cash on us at all times. I might be jumping the gun a little bit. I think there were some other points you wanted to hit before I talk about the cash. So we will talk a little bit more about that in just a second. I'll let him hit the rest of these real quick.
I really want to plug the freezer meal thing again, though, because if any of you know anyone that has a child with autism, one of the things we see and hear frequently is sleep habits are not as easy to deal with as what the other children we have were. And so that what I'm basically saying is he could wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and be up until 11 o'clock at night because his brain won't shut down, and that makes for some very sleepless nights. And where this ties into the freezer meals is when we would buy, eating out, for the last couple of years was typically because we were so exhausted we didn't feel like making anything, so it was easier just to go out and pick up some KFC. And for a large family, go to KFC, you almost have to take out a small business loan just to do something like that.
It costs about $70.
Yeah. It's crazy.
At KFC. It's $50 just to go. Well, and it was. We haven't even gone in a long time.
Right.
Now, if you ever see us eat fast food, it's because my mother picks it up and brings it to us.
Right.
And says, I'm giving you a break. I want to bring you stuff. But we're honestly, once you get to where you're cooking everything at home and you're making a lot from scratch, things start to not taste as good. Because we even had McDonald's, I don't remember when, it's been weeks, maybe a month or so. And it was like, that just wasn't even good anymore.
But I will say, there was the McDonald's Big Mac, what did you make?
Oh, I made the Big Mac slider. He
Big
loved
Mac
those.
sliders.
He wants
Those were
again.
awesome. Those
He
were
loved
awesome.
them. Here are other things that we did to cut money already.
Yep.
Consolidate trips. So he has to go into the office twice a week. So those little things that I forget at the grocery, because it never fails, I forget something. Somebody didn't tell me they used last of this, or I need a cleaning supply, or something always happens. So I can tell him, hey, because he literally passes these stores on his way home. So I just say, hey, grab this on your way home for me, please. So he actually has some of my grocery money in his wallet, which we'll talk about the cash part here in a second.
Yep.
So just consolidating whatever trips we can.
So we're all electric here, no gas, although I don't think that, in today's world makes as much of a difference because I think gas is going to cost more. But the bottom line is, wintertime always hits us hard when it comes to the electric bill.
And
so
summer. The air conditioner.
Yeah. Winter is the worst, though, because that's where we will have $700, $800 electric bills is what we were running January and February last year. So I did change out the thermostat because I don't think it was working right. So we did replace the thermostat. We
changed our furnace filters.
Have changed all the filters. We added plastic to a couple of the high impact windows. So we get a lot of our storms that come up from the southwest to the northeast. So those windows are all covered with a window plastic now, which really has cut back on a lot of the draft and breezes. So about $30 there hopefully will save us way more than that in energy costs. We have taken to reduce the thermostat this winter, putting on some extra layers, but we have reduced the thermostat down by...
So you see him in a sweatshirt and a sweater sitting in the house.
And so I'm the guilty one because she's always warm, I'm always cold, so I'm... Literally, folks, we have got it down on most days to 67 instead of about 72, which is what we kept it at last year.
He doesn't know, but I really bump it down 66, 65 a lot of the day.
Yeah, if I'm not here, I don't care. But
also, sorry, real quick. He's talked about plastic on the windows. You guys, it doesn't look tacky or anything at all because it's made to be that, and it's behind the curtains. You don't see it from the outside. You don't see it from the inside. It's just keeping that breeze coming through the cracks and letting some of the heat escape. You can't tell.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that.
And the only other thing we really did is our back patio door is not sealing as well. So this summer I'll probably take a look at the felt and everything around that. But we went ahead and put up some really heavy duty line curtains that we had taken down. But we put curtains up across that entire doorway just to act as kind of a thermal barrier because I don't know why, but the thermostat's in the dining room. The dining room is right next to that door,
So
and it gets the coldest and will just keep running like forever. Yes. So, we know there's a percentage you save on your electric bill for every degree dropped. We're hoping that's significant considering we're anywhere from 5 to 7 degrees on average lower this year than we were last year, and we'll see how the summer goes. But right now we're hoping to reduce the heaviest impact on the January and February bills, and after this, sub-zero temperatures we just had, we're hoping that it made a difference. So that is what we've done, is really heat is one of the big things. The other thing is we consolidated all of that credit card debt into one account. And so naturally we moved it all to what was going to have the lowest interest rate. Mm-hmm. Right there is going to save us, I did the math on it, it's going to save about $1,300 next year. Just on the interest alone
if we get it paid off this year. If we get everything paid off, which not if, we will get everything paid off this year. So that saves us extra $1,300. Now the other thing that we will have come in, you guys, as a big leap of pay down, is we have his work bonus that he gets every year, and we do have income tax money that'll come in. That is going to go straight, bam, straight to
the debt.
The debt.
Yep, absolutely. And we are pretty good about that. And so that is one of those, that's one of those disciplines that you have to force yourself to have, because it's easy to get those lump sums and go, oh, I really wanted this, let me go get it. Mm-hmm. We are typically pretty good. We didn't really have to do that a lot last year, but we did. But we're typically pretty good about putting it right on where it has to go.
Or using it for something specific. We don't.
Yes. Nothing really.
We don't just nickel and dime
flaunt, frivolous.
Money away.
Yeah.
No.
Eggs. So we have not had to buy eggs in forever. We have right now about 40 chickens on the homestead, and I'm going to be real and say we're not going to get less than 40 chickens. If anything, we're probably going to add chickens because we'll have some for processing, so we don't have to buy chicken at the store. We just have to get there yet. But in the meanwhile, as these birds are out there, right now, even when it's cold, we're getting about 14 eggs a day. So we tracked it in December.
20. Yeah. I mean, it varies. And we don't have all of them laying yet. No. So by summer, we're going to have at least 30, I'd say, a minimum a day of eggs coming in.
So we buy our feed from the local feed store in 50-pound bags, but I buy about 15 bags at a time, which is good for about 3 months.
And saves money.
Which saves, what really saves me is I stumbled across the fact that they do give me a small discount for using cash instead of credit. So it's only like 2 or 3%, but it makes the difference to where if I sell our eggs at $3 a dozen, just 7 dozen a week, that will cover the feed cost for all of those chickens, and we still get eggs from that, right? Oh. So we're still winning, right?
And to go with that too, that is the only thing right now I don't buy at the grocery store. Yep. But I have to buy stuff for my autistic child that you do not. So just because I don't buy eggs and you most likely have to, doesn't mean that you can't do what we're doing. But of course, where you live, it may be higher prices than what we have. It might be cheaper. I don't know. I'd say Ohio's probably kind of right in the middle. I know New York can be crazy, but sorry, jumped the gun on that. So we actually have loyal customers now too, as well. We have people that come faithfully. One woman comes every other week when she goes to her Jungle Gyms trip. We have a little man that comes faithfully and just calls and says, "Can I come by today?" Yeah. And he brings us egg cartons, which is wonderful. And we have some faithful, loyal customers already, which is just wonderful.
Yep. So that's part of growing our own food. The other thing that we're doing is we actually did pretty good in our green thumb last year. So we are going to more than double the amount of garden space that we have for this coming year. So growing your own food is another one of those things that, anything from I've seen hanging, planters on the sides of fences to whatever. For us, we can do a lot more in-ground and above ground. So I have added, I've added the structures for 2 more 24 foot by 4 foot raised garden beds for this coming year that I've got to get filled. I've put in another 40 by 40 in-ground bed that will house all of our tomatoes, peppers, green beans, peas, things like that for next year. and I've got the cows working a pasture spot right now that will become probably a 50 by 30 space for corn next year, and we'll be able to hopefully triple the amount of space that we had for watermelons because they did really good last year. So we're hoping we have another good year. So growing your own food, and for us, that isn't going to help us today. It isn't going to help us as we get into March, April, or May, but
hopefully by the fall.
Hopefully by the fall.
Our goal is by the fall/winter of next year, a lot of our own food, all of our own meat at that point to be here on the farm, and to also have a lot canned. Something else though, this was our first year with cows. We way underestimated the hay. We were on the right track. We bought it way early. We wanted our hay way early, and they wasted some. And we'll do more talks about that in the homesteading videos because it's already such a long video. But we do things like buy the hay early, as we just know we're going to need way more of it next year.
Right.
But that saves, you can get it for $35 a round this year versus $100 a round now that everybody needs hay. So that's kind of the stuff that we've done so far. As we think of more things that we've cut, we will share that with you. But again, just those cuts alone has given us close to $2,000 a month that we were spending, that we just cut like that now can be shared and into these buckets and paying off the debt.
The key is discipline into making sure we do it.
And so on to how am I keeping track of all of that? How am I gonna stay within that limit or that budget? Envelopes. This is all from Dave Ramsey, that we are doing the envelope system, cash only system. Again, credit card for a few things, but cash only. The money that we get from the egg sales, we put directly into our chicken envelope, and that goes directly towards chicken feed to help cut back on that. But the envelopes that I carry in my purse, I just want to share that with you, is one is a miscellaneous envelope. I put $100 in here at the end of the month. I will refill it up to $100. If I did not spend any going into February, then I won't add any money. If I spend $1, I'm going to add 99, or I'm going to add $1 back.
So what's the miscellaneous for?
So the miscellaneous is for things like, and when I'm at the store and I see a shirt on sale and I know that Luke needs a new shirt, or the girls need socks, or anything like that, then I've got the miscellaneous money here in my purse to buy that if I need it. I see a great deal on shoes or something, or we want to go to a garage sale because we need a new dresser and we like to shop garage sales. So we got miscellaneous money here for that. We are giving ourselves $100 a month for that. Then I have my own pet food envelope. My pet food envelope contains food for our dog and our cats, and we have $100 in here. That doesn't mean that I'm going to spend $100, but that's, I think, pretty close, and try to get stuff on sale. We have a very picky dog. Try to get stuff on sale. Even though we have barn cats, they have a litter box, they get food, they're treated like indoor cats, other than they get the freedom to run around on the farm. So I have an envelope for that. And yes, when I check out, I do separate orders, which is annoying, I know, maybe for some, but I pull out my envelope and I pay it, and it doesn't bother me at all because I look at it as kind of like a game. Here is purse money, and he has wallet money. We both have $20 in that. That is for the things like, we are coming back from therapy and we're rewarding Luke with $1 Coke from McDonald's. That comes out of my $20. Or today, he did a fabulous job on his haircut, and we had a new hairdresser and everything, which if you have an autistic child, you know that's huge. And he wanted a vanilla Coke, and we have a place here called Frisch's that is amazing vanilla Coke. So we took him to Frisch's to get a large vanilla Coke. Y'all know what they charge? $4.25 for one large Coke. Unbelievable. That came out of his wallet money. Because I didn't have my purse. But I just want to say, that's unbelievable.
And yes, it was so hard to reach in my wallet and grab the green and not the plastic, because I'm so used to grabbing the plastic. Yes. But I grabbed the green.
Yes. And so that is what this is. Or when I'm taking the girls back to college, they like to run in when I'm getting gas and grab a candy bar or get gas station coffee, one of those cappuccino things, chemical things that are so delicious, and I love them. I call them chemicals because it's, I think, all that they are, but I love them. So that is purse money. And then I have my grocery. And the handy thing about the grocery envelope is I will put my $500 in. We will write the date that we are spending something, how much we're spending, then the receipt goes directly into the envelope as well. So at the end of the month, this I will take out. I will not carry money over from groceries. I don't think. I think it will just replenish it, but I really don't anticipate having a lot of money left over. But then we can put the envelope and just kind of store it. And then we can look at the receipts later. And we will always know what we bought, what the prices were. If I want to price compare, like what did something cost, 2 months ago. I know I paid way more for that today. Then I can go back and look and say, this is what I paid 2 months ago. Which will also be a very handy tool to kind of monitor inflation, because apparently, according to the experts, that is not going away or getting any better. It's going to get worse.
So I know this looked like kind of a thick envelope. I just want to make sure that we are keeping it
You guys
real.
will see that shopping haul very soon as he's showing that. You'll see that shopping haul very soon. This is the end of the month, and just a thing. Meyer sent me a birthday 5% off my whole order, so I wanted to start my January shopping a few days early because I want to make sure that I took advantage of that offer. And
Just saying, the
money
money's
saved me a lot of money.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, the money's really there. We're really buying.
Yeah. Oh no, the money is in here. It's in here. That's how I do it. I just pull it out.
I need $4.25 back.
He has, no, that does not come out of here. And he has $10 of cash of my grocery money in his wallet. And that is for that, honey, can you stop and grab a loaf of bread on the way home? Can you stop and grab a gallon of milk or something that I need?
Bag of cat food.
Bag of cat food. Now this does not include household items or beauty products or anything like that. Cleaning products or anything like that. This is just for food and for stock up. We were going to put a budget on that, but honestly, I don't know that we are going to put a budget on that because I don't like go and just for fun buy the most expensive Cascade. You know what I mean? So that's just more, if I need the stuff, I'm going to get the stuff. And if it's on sale, I will want to get a couple of it. But then there's some months I won't spend any money, and some I'll stock up a little bit.
That's where I think that $200 that we know we've got kind of in there as the buy now, save later kind of money comes in handy, because knowing that you've got that $200 in your budget toward, I can buy things that are on sale today that I may need tomorrow, you can be thinking ahead to getting things like some of that if you wanted to.
And another thing that you're not seeing us talk about is entertainment money. We don't really do that. Especially right now, because there's too much sickness and all of that out there, and we are prone to getting sick, so we don't want to go out and all of that.
Got one upstairs sick.
Yeah. So we don't want to go out and all of that. So for us, that's more a summertime, and then I will add a little bit of a budget to take Luke to the movies or take the girls to, wherever they like to go. I don't know. They like to go to those laser web kind of places, play laser tag and stuff like that, and different things like that. So we will have money budgeted, and that's what I said, month to month, that'll change a little bit. And if that's something that you do that you don't see us have on here, then you have to make your budget for you. But that pretty much wraps up where our money is going, our goals, at least until the spring. This board that he's got down here, that is going to be where our focus is for our money. And then again, paying off that debt, because that weighs so heavy on you. And luckily we do not fight about money, and we are on the same page. Mm-hmm. So we don't have that stress in our marriage, but I know that it's major stress for a lot of marriages as well.
Well, financial is just, stress is stress.
Yeah. So just my advice is have fun with it. Make it as much fun as you can. Find ways to do stuff inside. Find new games that you can play, or break out old movies on a VCR, VHS tape. Go to the library and rent some.
A what?
I know, it's so weird when the kids see us pull something like that out. But, you know, do something. We have a projector because we haven't gone to the movies in a million years. Well, that's not true because I did take Luke over the summer. But, I mean, we went to a matinee and I just took him and like one other sister, so it stayed really cheap. But we have a projector and it's like having a movie night at home. Go buy you a bag of clearance candy and pop some air pop popcorn or some popcorn on the stove. You can do things and make it fun and still have all that good quality time. You know, for date night, when we did this before, him and I, we don't even do the whole date night thing anymore. We're just happy if we can go to bed early.
Our date night's feeding the chickens.
But it was things like that. We would watch a movie like that together. And there are ways to cut that doesn't involve money. Just doing something together, spending time together, I think is more important and more valuable than going out and spending money.
I think the stress of it all will eat you up if you let it, and when stress starts to eat you up, you lose focus on the things that you can do that you can actually make an impact on. So, you know, stress about the things that you can control but you aren't controlling and regain that focus. Don't stress on the things you can't control. We can't control, we can't change. Even though we can stress about it, we can't change the fact that we have money that we owe, that we're in debt, but we can change the direction of how our future is going to go by, you know, coming to terms with it and focusing the energy on what we can do to make a difference tomorrow and the next day. And
try and plan for the unexpected because you can't control everything that's going to happen. And I think now more than ever, the more prepared you can be because nobody knows what 2023 is going to bring. And you don't know what's going to come your way. What are you going to get hit with next? And that's where having cash on hand, making that a priority to make sure we've got cash in the house and to have a little buffer emergency money ready to go as well in the bank. And then start chipping away. Just chipping away, but making sure that all the other buckets are filled as well.
Absolutely. So we hope you found some things here that were helpful to you. We would love for you to leave us comments on what you think we might have missed or what we could do differently. We hope that if you did find something that was useful to you, you'll hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to kind of follow this journey, please make sure to hit the subscribe button because we will have some follow-ups as we get into 2023 and
we will do it monthly.
Carry on. So yes,
we will do a monthly on the 1st
absolutely
of every month. Sit down and just tell you. Won't be such a long video. Just a quick recap. How did we do? What progress are we making? So
we're excited. We hope you are too. We'll see you guys on the next video.
Bye everybody. Have a great day or night wherever you are.